Good to see you, Glenn, today out there on the left coast. Not throwing any curveballs at you today. We're just going to come at you straight through the chute. We're waiting to see. We're trying to pull up to see if Joe's in the lineup tonight for the Indianapolis Colts against Baltimore. But the CFL game tonight, I like this one. I'm curious. I'm obviously going to be sprinkling on it. BC in Hamilton. Does this one intrigue you?
Oh, big time. Absolutely big time. Like I think the Lions are nipping at being a competitive team that could make noise in the playoffs. They're not there yet, but they're just under the surface of it. And what I mean by that is I think they can score with anyone with Nathan. They can score with anybody. They can keep pace scoring on offense.
Have you been drinking all day, Glenn? Yeah. Is this the same Lions team that everyone else has been watching?
No, yes, it is, because they can score with anybody. They can't stop anybody. That's the problem.
So you're saying quarterback's not the problem, it's defense.
Defense is their problem. Defense is the BC Lions problem. They can't get stops when they need them. And this will be one of their greatest challenges all season, to play Hamilton in a half hour. So yeah, I'm really intrigued by this matchup. Bo's on a run. Front runner for MOP, and along with Trevor, of course. And I wish I was drinking.
Yeah. Just sitting on the porch waiting for the bear to come by. I like it.
Yeah, where is Bob the bear? Do we have an update on Bob?
Yeah, I haven't seen Bob in the last couple of days, but you know what's happening now? I had to do some almost sort of landscaping, I'll call it, in my backyard. A lot of overgrown stuff happening. You know, when you get on the road for football season, all of a sudden,
yeah, I know it.
Backyard, and it's overgrown with prickle bushes and stuff like that. So I thought, this morning I have a few meetings. I'll get rid of those, and then I'm going to get out there, put an hour in. But it's also right by a creek that is kind of a green space between houses where Bob actually hangs out. Like he's walking back and forth there all the time. So, I'm clipping branches, looking over my shoulder. Every time a little snap or a squirrel ran by or something, I'm like, what is that, Bob? What?
Do you have spray? Do you have some sort of defense mechanism other than a shovel?
Well, what's happening now, honestly, Sharky, is that, and I've seen it happen across the street when Bob walked by, people are now coming out of their homes to go and watch Bob. And, they're faster than you think. They can move. They can move when they want. They don't look like it. Yeah. They lumber around like they don't care what you're doing. But this is my concern with Bob, because when I've seen someone run out of their house, take a look and take pictures, and they're getting a little closer than they should be. And Bob just doesn't care. I mean, he kind of looks up, looks at them. It's not like he scatters and takes off because he's afraid. He's not afraid anymore. He's walking around the neighborhood all the time, and he's just walking around. So I don't want to be clipping branches in the bushes and have Bob just kind of walk up on me and then I turn around and meet him up close and personal. But I'll keep you updated. I've got my phone ready.
Wouldn't that be a story?
Yeah.
We would lead with it.
Glen Suitor is not available tonight.
TSN analyst Glen Suitor mauled by a black bear while cutting weeds.
Film at 11.
The black bear won.
If people are like, you don't tune in that often, we talk about it all the time. Glenn has a black bear that frequents his house. We have video of it. If you're watching the stream, there it is again. It's huge. And this is the video of him doing his business on Glenn's lawn. So we've labeled him Bob the Bear, and we'll have an update every time we talk to Glenn. It's just how we're doing things. Back to the football game.
Yes.
That game a couple weeks ago, Hamilton, BC, 37-33. BC did a good job of taking away Kenny Lawler as best they could, but then Bo just said, that's fine, double team him. I'm going to throw to everybody else in the park.
Yeah, and just use the rest of his receiving core, and he has found a comfort level in Scott Milanovich's offense. He actually mentioned it after the game when interviewed on the sideline, and he said, I am playing my best football of my career, and that's saying something with Bo. It is with Trevor as well, and I mentioned that in Montreal, but it is certainly with Bo. When he started with a great win-loss record back in his early Calgary days, he was like, you just could tell this was going to be a Grey Cup champion. And now to be playing at his age, his best football is really remarkable. But he's giving credit to Scott Milinovic. I think for a long time, Bo was in the same system and was completely asked to do different things, read defenses differently under Scott Milinovic's offense. And in the first year, he kind of fought it. It was like teaching an old dog new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of saying, no, I've been really good doing what I do. And, he's not literally saying this, but just subconsciously doing it and saying, I can get this done without getting all complicated in your new thing. And Scott benched him. Remember that last year?
Yeah.
Well, Levi Mitchell got benched.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, now he's playing his best football, and you're right. As soon as you take away one, and the strategy for BC that game was to make sure they didn't give any explosives up to Lawler. So they let them catch anything underneath and then rallied to make tackles. And in the end, when it was a one-score game and Bo had the ball last, that was a problem now.
Yep.
Now your defensive game plan is to give up all those underneath routes, and it was Keandre Smith that had 5 catches for 10 yards a catch, and they go in and score to win the game. So, yeah, it's got to be a different strategy now. Rely on maybe 1 or 2 defenders to work on Lawler. I still think you got to pay extra attention to him.
So we started off the show talking about Nathan Rourke, and is he having trouble after he came back from his NFL tryouts? Is he the same Nathan Rourke that he was in the past? We agreed that not as impressive as he was his first go-around in the CFL. What's the difference for him? What do you see as the difference in Rourke, and how's he going to get out? How's he going to get back to what he was?
Yeah, I think he's getting there. He's pretty close. I really do. I think when he first came back was the real drop-off. And, at that point, he had been in talking about systems and offensive systems. He had been in 3 different ones or 4 different ones, I think 2 in the NFL, 2 different teams down there, the Lions previous, and then the Lions when he came back. And then there was the issue, which really, as a professional athlete, shouldn't affect you that much, but it was the issue of him and Vernon Adams. And it was Vernon Adams' team, and Vernon Adams was an MOP candidate. Then he was hurt when Nathan came back, so it wasn't really a decision by Rick Campbell. I mean, he was playing Nathan because Vernon was hurt.
Yep.
But when he became healthy, they left Nathan in. Vernon didn't come back. Part of the team thought that was unfair. And one of the reasons I think, they won't say it publicly, but I think one of the reasons that they made a change at the head coaching position in BC was his management, Rick Campbell's management of the quarterback situation at that time. And it wasn't ideal for Nathan either. Now he's coming back and half his team is going, hey, the wrong guy's playing or whatever. And that's a difficult situation to be in. So now I think he's back. 2 games ago, when he got the ball for their first drive, they were down 10-0. In the Hamilton game, every time they scored and put together a drive and looked like they were gaining momentum, Hamilton came back and scored because their defense couldn't get a stop, couldn't carry on the momentum that a 10-play drive by Nathan Rourke just created. And so that scoring back and forth, you started to get the feeling that the last team to have the ball is going to win, and that's what happened. But I think in that game, we saw him back in that 22 form. I really do, Sharky. I think he is back. I just think he needs a little bit more help in the other phases.
What's the NFL? And I think you've heard NFL are banning teams from supplying smelling salts or whatever verbiage you want to use to players. CFL sounds like it's still readily available. Have you been following the story? What's Glen Suitor's take on it?
Yeah, and talked to some people in the not in the league office, but in the league today, and there really is no policy. There's no official policy. However, what I've heard now is that there'll be from the league office, they're going to take a look at all the new literature that's out there and the reason for this decision down south. I mean, they work very closely together. So especially when there's a player safety issue, Both leagues will communicate back and forth. I know that Stuart Johnson will make the call down south and say, hey, tell us what you're doing and why you're doing it and show us the literature, and then we'll possibly make the same decision in the future. But right now, as of right now, I guess it's up to the team trainers and doctors per team if they want to supply it for players. I know it was readily available back in the old days, and I've seen it used now. It's a little strange to me, though, guys, that the NFL says it's not allowed. We're not allowing our teams to give it to you, but you can still use it.
Yeah, litigation. Hey, they're covering their butts for the law, for the court case.
That has to be the only reason for this. This is a business decision and nothing more. So let's not pretend that it's a player safety thing and we're worried about the players sniffing whatever is in that stuff. Because to be honest with you, I'm not sure. But I used it all the time. I just was never sure what was in it. But I think it's a litigation thing, that just protecting themselves, because that just, I don't know, that's not even a rule now. You can use it. We're just not going to give it to you. So go get it yourself.
If you're wondering what's in it, it's the same smell that's in the bottom of the chicken coop. So as a kid who had to clean the odd chicken coop, exactly the same smell as the bottom of the chicken coop.
Ew, Sharky, I don't want to hear that. I don't know how many.
So that's what you were snorting, was a little chicken poop. There you go.
How many times I inhaled that? Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, it's weird. They're covering their butt legally, I'm sure. But I do know that the CFL is going to look at all the literature, and if they feel like there is a player safety angle here that they can protect players, I'm sure we'll see some sort of policy.
The NFL is the biggest TV show in the world. They're huge. They're watch the trickle-down effect to other leagues, not just the CFL. CFL is obviously working close with them. Hockey leagues. Where else would they use it? I don't know. If they would probably don't use it in basketball, but because on hockey benches all the time.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes.
Any contact sports, really, because the thought was back in the old days, at least for a lot of us that were using it, where it was if you felt a little groggy, like if you either because you slept in a little bit and missed the alarm and you got late to the stadium, or you were in a big collision, and coming out of that collision, you don't want the trainers to know, but you're walking to the bench and you're doing a little smelling salts because you're thinking, wow, I got to clear my head a little bit here.
Yeah.
Which is no longer allowed. Like any head injury now, forget it. You're gonna be in the 10.
There's been a few guys that have hidden some good ones still, but it's tricky. Okay, so we started the show. We had a bunch of people text in hour one. We'll bring it back a bit here, and I know you don't like to be prediction guy, so we're not asking for predictions.
No,
we're asking after 8 games for the Riders, a few different 8-game trophies if we could hand out, starting with most outstanding player offensively for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to this point in the season. Who would Glen Suitor say?
Trevor Harris. No question. Trevor Harris. Like it's, I mean, when one night it's Keyshawn Johnson, when the next night it's Dante Myers, when it's, Emelis another night, when AJ Ouellette, has close to 100 yards rushing, when Jake Mayer's in, it's a different guy. And let's not forget the pick sixes from the defense and the 8-sack game. There's a lot of reasons for them winning, but the one consistent factor, the one guy that is, just making the right decisions, protecting the ball, not giving the opponent short fields, and scoring when he needs to score, understanding game management and understanding when the urgency has to be there. That's Trevor Harris. I mean, that's how. So for sure, that's an easy one. All right, what's next?
Defensive. Yeah. Defensive side of the ball.
Jameer Thurman. I'm going to take Jameer Thurman, or Of late, it's been one of those D linemen. I'm almost kind of leaning to Micah, but
there we go.
That's only been the last couple of games, 2 or 3 games. I think earlier than that, sort of the glue was Jameer. I mean, he's kind of that straw that stirs the drink guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Our next one was rookie.
Oh.
And that's where we are considering, because it's our show and our game, so we can do whatever we want. We are considering Robustelli a rookie.
Okay, I was gonna say, are you putting him in that category? And I guess not Tavon, because he's been there.
No,
Tavon, okay,
no.
He's made America money. He's made Americanos. Too.
Yes, and not Shane Ray, because he played a couple of years in Toronto.
Yeah.
So not him. So you're giving me Robustelli or Peyton Collins possibly?
Yeah, but Collins has only played 2 games, right?
But then there was somebody. Who was the other? A couple other people text in. Daniel Johnson.
Daniel Johnson. Collins only played a couple of games. It's got to be Robustelli. I mean, he was one of the guys. When we talked about different people stepping up at different times. I mean, that was a 200-yard game that Robustelli put on the board. So he kind of he automatically allowed Corey Mace to sleep better at night when he lost Sam Emelis and he lost Schaefer Baker in the first series of game 1. And those are 2 key Canadian receivers. And he's going like, how many receivers do I have in reserve? How many do I have on the practice roster? And will any of them be able to step in and become a guy? And Robustelli, American or not, and become a guy. And Robustelli did. So I think that allows the coach to sleep a little better at night.
Without a doubt.
Offensive lineman is Logan Furland. And you can't win twice in this game. Another stupid rule that we made up. We do allow smelling salts.
We do allow smelling salts
at the current moment until we rejig the clown show here. The top Canadian. It can't be Logan Furland.
Okay, top Canadian. I like Tavon Campbell in this.
That's my guy. One. That's my guy.
That pick 6 against BC. That was the play. And, I thought in the first 2 games, I watch the secondary away from the ball quite often, especially when I'm watching games back at home. I'll be watching the secondary more than anything because I'm most familiar with that part of the field. But Tavon, I thought, started slow as he was understanding the angles and the difference in the spacing. Basically, like zone defenses have different spacing up here than they do down there. And he spent all that time, and he had to sort of break some of those habits, I'm sure. The other thing about playing, because I played all my college ball, I played U.S. rules, 4 downs and American field and all of that, and a few. So that's the one thing I noticed immediately, that when you're playing corner in the U.S., your sideline is right there as an extra player because the field is much narrower. So you're even if you're the wide side corner, your sideline is your friend, and he's an extra defender. In the CFL, that is gone. Like you have 20 yards out there for guys to run routes, and I thought Tavon had a bit of a slow start with the first couple of games, but he came on, and I'm not sure he's been beat since. Honestly, I can't remember.
I don't think he has, no.
I can't remember someone getting in behind him. And then there's the pick 6 that sealed the deal or basically won the game against BC.
It's funny because I remember talking to Drew Bledsoe once and just talking about the Canadian game, and I was like, yeah, Drew, like wouldn't that be awesome? You could run a post pattern from the 1 and hit somebody, and then he talked about the sideline. He's like, because the NFL, he goes, how hard is that to cover guys when you got that much more sideline?
Exactly. It's a big difference. It's a big difference.
And the waggle.
Yeah, they're coming full speed.
As some quarterbacks call it, the Tweety Bird. They do this, or the twirly word. That motion to the line, when teams are on a roll, they'll run the bunch formation with 3 receivers in that bunch that are all sort of moving towards the line. One's coming laterally along the line, and the others are going towards the line of scrimmage. And then on the snap of the ball, they break out, and it's almost impossible to play man against it. So you're going to get zone looks, and it gives the quarterback a great advantage. So that sideline being way out there is completely different.
Okay, so you only have the one game this weekend, right? You're doing the Winnipeg.
Yeah, I have the one game, guys, Winnipeg, Calgary, and I was just thinking, and I want to ask you guys this.
Oh boy.
Have the Bombers lost that mystique? Is it over as far as the mystique goes? Because, I think, was it you, Sharky, that said at the beginning of the year that I want to see, it might have been Maz, but I want to see when they play in Labor Day and the Labor Day rematch. That's when we're really going to know if the Riders are. Well, I think they don't have anything to prove. They're a great team, and they're playing very well right now. Their level of excellence is there. But I'm wondering about the Bombers.
Ask me something. I got to get something.
like the Bombers basically, they beat Toronto.
Yep.
And Willie Jefferson did Jefferson stuff, knocking passes down and sacking quarterbacks and all the stuff he does. But Barney, I don't know where you're going with this, but but I'm just wondering, when you played the Bombers the last 5 years, they were up by 7 before they even did the odds.
Yep.
Because there was this
anymore.
mystique about them. They were impossible to beat, especially in Winnipeg.
I don't think the mystique of them's gone. I think it has aged. I think that's how I would regard the Bombers. They've aged, and they're showing their age. Father Time is winning again. That's how I'd put the Bombers.
We started. You started talking about when you're doing yard work, and Bob.
Yeah.
Hour 1 of the show, Sharky fixed my neighbor's chainsaw that I broke.
Yeah.
How did you break it?
It didn't really break it. The chain just fell off.
Chain just came off. So it wasn't broke. Chain fell off.
It was definitely
it didn't
not
have
a
any
job.
chain oil in there either. It was completely dry. No chain oil.
That'll be a problem.
I'm a better man. I learned something today. Can I still fix it on my own? I don't think so. But it was a little bit of a learning session.
You actually can't do anything wrong. You couldn't wreck it.
Oh, that's a challenge.
Be careful with that chainsaw.
It's an electric one. He can't do that much damage with this thing.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
The blade's only, I think, about 12 inches. Yeah, it's not. There's nothing to worry about.
Goggles. Make sure you wear goggles, and definitely use smelling salts if you need them.
Have a good weekend, Suits.
Okay, gentlemen.
Take care. Right on.